Yeah, so we do like to record these roundtable discussions just to share it for individuals who expressed interest, and then we're not able to attend. We do share out this recording to all registered participants after the call today. So thank you for being here. We will give it just one more minute before we get going. We do have a full agenda, so we want to honor everybody's time, still letting some individuals in. And Mimi is dropping in the chat access to the slide deck. So you have access to our resources today. So I'm going to get going here. I think we'll get started. So, welcome to Connect and Access. This is our monthly, we try to do it monthly, where we get together for this roundtable discussion. We have statewide system of support partners across the state coming together on the call here, along with educators throughout the state to really collaborate and problem solve and share insights. This topic this month is graduation and post-school pathways. We are super excited to have two projects on the call with us. California Includes and high quality IEPs. So we are going to get right to it. We just want to thank you for being here today. We want to ground ourselves in access to our resources. So before we begin, we have access to the slide deck using the link in the chat or the QR code. You will also be able to walk away with what we're calling our implementation guide, where we will capture all of the resources. It's going to kind of be a fire hose of resources coming at you and strategies to help support and drive towards those positive student outcomes. So we want to make sure that you walk away with access to both of those. And I will quickly make some introductions here. My name is Lori Balsano Wright, and I serve as the coordinator on the Open Access Project, which is associated with the Placer County Office of Education and Placer County SELPA. We also have on the call today Stephanie Coleman from the Sacramento County Office of Education. She is a coordinator with California Includes. We are also excited to have Heather DeFeeti on the call, and I'm not quite sure if Jen is on the call. I apologize if I missed her. They are both located out of San Diego, and Heather and Jen are part of the High Quality IEPs project. So thank you everyone for being here today, taking your time out of your day. So again, before we dive in, we are committed to all things accessibility at Open Access. We are dedicated to the principles of universal design for learning, ensuring that all of our materials and resources are accessible as possible. So you can see some of those strategies that we've included here today, listed here on the slide, and again, access to our materials. Real briefly, we just want to say who we are at Open Access. So we are one of the special education resource leads within the statewide system of support. We are grounded in the foundational belief that with access to quality instruction, all students can engage, actively participate, and learn with inclusive settings. And what makes our project unique is that we highlight the importance of learning and participation for all through universal design for learning, assistive technology, and augmentative alternative communication. So we have a link there on the slide deck, access to our website, full of free resources for educators and administrators, really designed to support the implementation of UDL, AT, or AAC. And if you click on that image on the slide deck, you'll have access to our flyer that really details our three-tiered approach to assisting LEAs, SELPAs, and county offices throughout the state. So you all came today. Today's topic of discussion really centers on a critical question. How do we prepare students with the skills, supports, and opportunities needed to successfully graduate and pursue post-secondary education, employment, or independent living? So we'll be exploring through this, through our problem of practice, which really focuses on graduation and post-school pathways. And as we think about this question, this challenge, this opportunity, four common root causes often emerge across schools and districts. They are listed here on the slide. So the first one is can be inconsistent credit tracking, maybe where credit tracking systems are inconsistent or unclear, and students and families often lack timely, accurate information about progress toward graduation, and that's really limiting that early intervention and informed decision making. A second potential common root cause is weak student sense of belonging. When students are lacking the feeling of connection or being valued or represented within their school community, engagement and motivation decrease, and that's directly impacting that persistence toward academic success. A third root cause could be credit deficiencies among students. Credit deficiencies often reflect systemic barriers, such as attendance challenges, it might be instructional misalignment, limited access to supports, rather than student ability or effort. And then finally, we thought that limited college career and or post-secondary planning also surfaces up as a root cause. So when that planning is delayed or misaligned or fragmented, students are less likely to develop that clear, achievable pathway aligned to their strengths, their interests, and their long-term goals. So as we move through today's discussion, keep those root causes in mind. Maybe some of them have resonated with you in your context, and consider which ones feel most familiar to you and where your team might want to focus to strengthen access, participation, and rigorous instruction for all learners. So we have brought to you on this call today some statewide projects that really put into practice efforts to support academics and overall achievement. Two key projects in this work around pathways beyond graduation are California Includes and high quality IEPs. California Includes supports schools in implementing alternative achievement standards and developing meaningful alt pathways for students. High quality IEPs serves families and LEAs across California by providing training and resources to support meaningful engagement in the IEP and transition planning process. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Stephanie Coleman from California Includes. Each project will take roughly about 10 minutes to share a wealth of resources, share all about their project, and then we're going to open it up for a roundtable conversation. So take it away, Stephanie, and you just let me know when to click.
Perfect. Thank you. And I don't know that I'll need 10 minutes, but because I want to have lots of time for people to ask questions. But
Wonderful.
our project has centered on supporting students and really having educators understand the new alt pathway for students with significant cognitive disabilities. We've done a lot of work creating a toolkit, which you'll see in a few minutes. That helps guide through the process. We've worked with training families, and everybody needs to kind of have an idea of what's going on. And rooted in all of that is a need to have a sense of belonging. And so these are just some of the resources that we offer as part of our supports. And we're, definitely providing anything we can to help people better understand the importance of a rigorous academic opportunity for every single student. And some of that, many of those things that Lori identified as part of our problems of practice really have become barriers to students having access. And so we want to talk about how we can dismantle those barriers so students all have access to high quality education. So if you'll click to the next one for me, Lori. So what we do is create what we call toolkits, and they're really based in a document that looks like this. It's a home-based document, and this one is specific to the alternative pathway for students who meet eligibility for the CAW. That's the kind of the easiest way to capture the students that are eligible for this pathway. And with this particular document that hopefully we'll drop a link in the chat for you, you can see that there's a slide deck, and it is the same slide deck that we use across every interest group that we talk to, whether it's families or administrators or school counselors or our ed specialists that support students. There's different slides in there to help support some of the ideas around things like credits and making sure that our transcripts are aligning to the courses that we have and all sorts of different things. You can also see that there's a number of additional resources that just help to make this a little bit easier. We do have the ed code from where this particular piece of statute comes from because it's not always easy to find. And just some considerations for understanding what are the graduation requirements across all of our students with disabilities. And that particular document, the one that's at the bottom, that says California State Graduation Requirements, came from a partnership with High Quality IEPs and our team to help create some clarity around what are the many ways that students have access to a diploma in California. So if you go to the next slide. These are some quick resources that just help explain what the alt pathway requirements are, who is eligible for it. And we have a number of different versions. Those are all accessible through that home-based document. But what these are meant to do is to be something that we can all hold on to. So if we are an educator and we're attending meetings where we know we have a student who may be eligible for the alt assessment, and we want to have a conversation. We wanted to have a really quick and easy guide to looking over what does it mean, who's eligible, what do we need to take, and answer some of those questions that are frequently popping up in IEP meetings. And so those are another resource to be able to take a look at and just have as shorthand. Next slide. This is that document that was co-created by our two projects that you're hearing from today, and this just helps us to better identify what are the many ways that a student in California can earn a diploma. Sometimes it feels nuanced, and so we wanted to do our best to help provide as much clarity as we can, with additional links to different resources that help us be able to see how do we make this happen for every student, and what are the supports that are available. So that's another, it's also available on the home-based doc or in the slide deck. And then, thank you. We have been doing a community of practice. Both Heather and I host that once a month, and we continue to host administrators typically, but it really anyone is invited to attend. It is aimed for educators, and typically educators that have some ability to shape policies and practices. But that community of practice has been going now for about 2 years. And we have a Padlet that anything that's collected, every slide deck, resources, it's become a great place for us to highlight the good work that's happening throughout the state, and have people be able to, different districts or county offices, share with us the ways that they have navigated some of the barriers that this has brought out as they've been going through the process. So that's available for anyone who would like to look at it. And there are many columns and many resources in there as well. And then I think, here we go. Yeah. So the other piece that our team at California includes, we're kind of a duplicate team. We also have been named with LA County Office of Ed to be the Center for Inclusive College. And all of the work that we're talking about today is really aimed to have a North Star for every single student, to have this core belief that every student can learn at really high levels, and that we should be aiming for every student earning a diploma and mapping to that. And now, like, I mean, not now because they've been around, but now we're hoping more people will know about the potential of inclusive college, where students can, with intellectual disabilities, still have opportunities to attend college. So if you go to the next slide, you can kind of see a quick list of all of, a quick visual of the places that have inclusive colleges. So each of those stars represents an inclusive college program in California. And we had five of our inclusive college programs in California receive TIPSID grants, which are a federal grant to help expand or build a new program. So we have a couple new programs being built, And of those five, a number that are going to expand, which just provides even more opportunity for more students to have a true college experience and have a unique college experience because each of these programs do things just a little differently, which is perfect because that's exactly what we want college to be like for all students. So we have a website, I think it's on the next slide, that you can go to. It's a work in progress, so please know that when you go there, if it feels a little thin, we're still building. But with that, you can see all of the information about each of those college programs that exist. You can look at their details and their websites and learn more about them. Because the more that we know is available for our students, the more we have a bigger dream for what they can achieve and the ways in which we can build those IEPs, as I kick it off to Heather, that are focused on strength-based, that really believe in the capacity of all students to learn, and that it's our responsibility to collectively lift up each student based on their strengths and provide them the supports with a dream that every student will earn a diploma. And if they want to go to college, there's an option for them to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to Heather now to tell you all of her amazing resources. I'm her number one fan. I mean, the project's number one. I'm probably Heather's, I don't know if I'm Heather's number one fan, but I
Oh,
love the work
heartbroken
of
now,
high quality
Stephanie.
IUP.
Well, thank you, Stephanie, and for sharing about California Includes and California Inclusive College. Um, High quality IEPs, similar to open access, is a special education resource lead. So we are funded by the California Department of Education. And like the other projects that have been talked about today, we are free. So everything we're going to share with you is free for you to utilize. I'm the executive director of the High Quality IEPs project. We have Leo Mapagoo, who's the SELPA director in Northwest SELPA in the Santa Clara area, who is a part of our team. We have Jennifer Yales, Noreen Rodriguez Lippincott, and with me today is Hinda Nadeem. So you can see our small but mighty team is really focused on removing those barriers and creating a sense of belonging for our students and families, and increasing their meaningful participation in the IEP process that results in educational benefit for our students. And on the next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about our project and how we are approaching the IEP. It is more than just that one time a year meeting or that one meeting and getting a document signed. It really has layers and throughout an IEP journey. So there's a place to begin before the IEP happens, during the actual meeting itself, and then after the IEP meeting. So all of those remaining school days, so hashtag 180 for the 180 school days in the year, where that IEP is put into action. And along that journey, we have a variety of roles of parents, our students, and our educators. And all of those voices need to be heard, and because they all have value in this process for our students. So as we are diving in, let's go ahead and look into our resources. So our grant is only 2.5 years old, and we have been working on the next slide. You'll see that we carry that theme through of all those team members having a value in the IEP process. And our goal over our lifespan of our grant is to develop resources for all of those roles. So far, we have developed our toolkits for the LEAs or the educators, and we're going to go over a few of those resources that tie to graduation today. But in the works are our parent toolkit, which we hope to have out by the summer. And then next year, we'll be working on our student toolkit. So thinking ahead, if you're having or your district is needing supports for students in graduation, our student toolkit coming out at the end of next school year will also be another great resource for you. So let's look a little on the next slide into our LEA resources. We have our website, which is highqualityiEPs.net, which Hinda and I both dropped into the chat. And so you can follow along with me as we're kind of walking you through a quick walkthrough of our website. So on the next slide, once you get to our website, about halfway down on the homepage, you'll see that you have an IEP journey. We have the family resources. We have a few things there, a few things under student, but today we're going to focus on the educators. So you can click there, and what you'll see is on the next slide. So you'll come up to the Special Education Provider Toolkit. If you've scrolled too far, you'll also see our administrative designee and our general education teacher toolkits. But for today, we're going to focus on our special educator toolkit. And so on the next slide, if you go into before the IEP meeting, you'll see some of the resources we have, but I'm going to focus on the ones that tie us to graduation and our outcomes for our students with disabilities. So before we start the IEP meeting, IEP team members, the educators, are working on drafting those present levels. And part of that is the work you're doing on the individual transition plan or ITP. So one of our resources in before the IEP is the ITP, which is a toolkit that you can see on the next slide, I think. Oh, no, we're okay. So you can go there and check it out. It'll take you all the steps and strategies before the IEP. So did
I go too far?
That's okay. Go back
Okay.
one slide, maybe.
Okay.
Okay. So that's before the IEP. Now we're going to jump. We're back to that same landing page of the special educator toolkit, and we were in the before. Now we're going to go to the during section. And so on the next slide, you'll see the resource that we have during the IEP. So this helps educators determine the goal areas, establish that baseline, really walks you through the ITP process, and is a great resource for many of you that are newer to high school, or if maybe you're a middle school and you are implementing AB 438, where you're considering those transition services and goals as the student is entering high school. So as we're doing these high school transition meetings coming up this spring, this is a great resource for your middle school teachers as well. So on the next slide, Stephanie talked about the diploma pathways. This is that same resource that we've jointly developed. And I shared that link earlier in the chat. So this is on our website as well in the during the IEP section. So there's multiple ways that you can access that same information. So on the next slide, we're going to,
Sorry.
There you go. So that's all broken down for you. It's a great resource. Stephanie and California Includes have resources for families. This one's probably a little more educator centric, but it's absolutely appropriate for families as well. All right, so we've done before the IEP meeting. We've looked at the ITP resources. We looked at during the IEP with the ITP resources and the graduation pathways. We're now going to be back in that toolkit going into the after the IEP section. So on the next slide, you'll see that one of the tools we have after the IEP are those transition activities tracker. So we talked about hashtag 180 a few moments ago about actually implementing the IEP. And part of that IEP implementation includes the individual transition plan or ITP implementation. So within your ITP, you have those activities that you're doing to help support students to meet their post-secondary goals. This is a great tool that you can use throughout their high school career to keep track of the activities that they've completed and make sure you're not repeating anything that they've already done, but also to keep a log of everything that's been accomplished by the student to prepare them for meeting their post-secondary goals. So this is a great tool for you. Also, and after the IEP meeting, we have a resource on IEP implementation monitoring for the ITP, how to progress monitor, and how it relates directly to the ITP and monitoring it after the IEP. Whew, we've taken you for our resources from before, during, and after, but yet there's still more. So on the next slide, I want to just draw your attention if you're navigating our website along with me. We're going to go on the next slide and you'll see the technical assistance. So on the top menu bar, there is a tab that it says technical assistance. If you click that tab and then click universal supports. So these are universal supports for all LEAs across the state. Not necessarily you're identified for this area for any SIM or continuous improvement monitoring or any dashboard through your DA or DTA. So these are resources and materials you can use at any time. So if you are navigating, you want to click one of those plus signs, and what you'll see come up is on the next slide. you'll see all of our training materials. So all of these slide decks are ready, not only the slide deck, the agenda for the training, and a processing guide for your participants is all there, free and ready for you to use. I'm assuming most of you are district level folks that are on the call, or SELPA level folks who might be doing training of others. These are great tools for you to grab and go and be able to utilize in any trainings or professional development you're doing at the local level. They match our resources. You're free to customize them in any way, but we have them there ready for you. And if you go to the next slide, you'll see that what happens when you click on them, you'll see it comes up as a use template. So there are Google slide deck that are templates. You click the blue use template button, and then it'll open up for you to use and customize as you see fit. If you click enter one more time, Lori, and you'll see part of what we have are two different slide decks on the ITP. So if you are addressing graduation, the ITP is a critical role for students with disabilities in supporting your graduation activities and through your different monitoring plans. So please check this out. Additionally, on the next slide, you'll see if you're navigating on our website, we have the events page, which is right next to that menu bar for technical assistance. You'll see events. We have a couple of events that might be valuable to you in your work in supporting students with disabilities and graduation. We have our Ascend community of practice. So this is for all age spans from preschool through adult transition programs at age 22. We are helping support teachers to build the self-determination skills of our students through our Ascend framework. So this is a community practice that's been going on, but please jump in, join anytime, and we'll take you through lessons and activities that as a teacher you can do to help support our students with these skills, which helps support them to graduate and to have success in life after high school. So if you're in special education, you know, not only do we monitor your transition plans through indicator 13, we're also monitoring our post-secondary outcomes through indicator 14. And we need our students to take their whatever skills they learn in the education setting with us and in their educational career and apply them, whether it's employment or education and training, in their post-secondary outcomes. So these are some additional tools to help support them in meeting those post-secondary goals. And if you need a hook, to help you with indicator 14. As Stephanie shared, California Includes and High Quality IEPs have been partnering together for several years now on a community of practice. And so on our events page, you'll also see the link to come and join us for that community of practice. We have a few more meetings left, and we meet about monthly as well. And we encourage you to join us if you want to hear that support. On the next slide, this probably seems like a ton of information I've shared with you in my few minutes together, but we are continuing to develop resources and offer opportunities for professional development. And I'd really like to encourage you all to, if you haven't done so already, go to our website, the contact page, and sign up for our listserv. We're only going to email you when we release new resources, or if we have free training opportunities available for you to take advantage of. So we're not going to be spamming you all the time, but we do want to stay in touch with you because on the horizon in the next few weeks, we'll have a procedural safeguard resource and training decks up there, and a lot of great free materials for you to utilize. So please join our listserv. And if you really want to have some fun, on the next slide, you will see how to follow our social media. I will say, I think there's even some dancing of Lori on one of our social media posts, so you can't miss that. So please follow us on social media as well as signing up for our contact list. So that's a lot of information we've thrown at you. And our focus today is really, you know, there's a variety of activities that we're all doing to support our students and through different monitoring, the dashboard, and differentiate assistance or SIM through your special education indicators. And hopefully we've given you a few ideas as you're implementing those plans, or even maybe you just got your ADL in the last couple weeks and you are starting to think of root causes in your activities that you're developing, these are some great tools and resources as you're planning your plans that you could leverage in supporting your districts, improving their outcomes. So thanks for the opportunity to present today.
Thank you to both Heather and Stephanie. So now that we've heard from our statewide system of support partners, really sharing their strategies, resources, and examples, we want to open it up to a roundtable discussion. This is really a facilitated Q&A with all of the participants on the call. And this part is about connecting these ideas to implementation. So we invite you to begin thinking about what you've heard today and how you can apply this in your own district or school site. So these questions on the slide are just ideas to spark discussion. Feel free to pick one that fits your own context. We invite you to unmute, start the conversation, and our partners are going to hang around on the call and they can jump in with examples, clarifications, and connections to supports as we go through this conversation. So I'm going to pause there and see if anyone has a question.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Rebecca, thanks.
Yes. Hi. I have a question. I am in my second year as family support ambassador for my school district, and my background is high school. And I was really, as a case manager, making sure that their transition plans were strong and the kids were connected to their transition plan. Like, it had value to them. They understood it. Now, as a family support ambassador, what is the best way to start, getting, I don't know what the word, traction with, my families to, get that word out there, being, to help case managers?
Well, I think, Rebecca, thank you for your question. I think one important thing is as the ITP or individual transition plan is being developed, the case manager should be including the student's voice and getting the review of records, the interview, the observation, and the testing, and making sure that the student is the center of that plan. And part of that is including the families in the ongoing transition assessments and the review of the ITP through the IEP process. Now, for families, they may not always understand all of those pieces, and you're a little bit early, but we do have our parent toolkit that is being worked on now that will be a great resource, and we will have that done probably like June-ish, July, and it'll be translated into multiple languages as well. So I encourage you to sign up for our contact list so that you're first to know when we have those resources coming out. But that might be a good way to help build that connection for families, but also making sure that we're coaching our teachers and service providers to make sure they're including students in their whole entire IEP process and their ITP. One thing we do have on our website is on the very first page, we have a variety of videos that kind of just help parents understand the different parts of the IEP. And there is a video on the ITP itself, just so parents have an awareness of what it is. And so if Hinda hasn't done it already, I will drop that link in for you so that it's right on our homepage. We have a variety of those videos and they're available. When you click to view them, you can choose multiple languages to view them in. So the captioning will come up in multiple languages as well.
Fantastic. And second part, I really appreciate you answering that. And I look forward to the parent kit. And then second question, should I offer meetings for parents who want more information? Like, is that a service other school districts offer to their families? Or I just
I I have what I have seen, and I would defer to your
Mhm.
local district or your
Okay.
SELPA. And some things that have been done are just generic family trainings on the
Okay.
ITP. Um,
Hmm.
and also, like, I don't know if you're in a unified district or maybe you have you're a high school only district and you have students feeding into you. Some partnerships with the feeder districts and the high school district as students are entering, like, so if this is their eighth grade year, this would be a great opportunity to have, you know, some orientation of like what is high school, what an ITP, and especially as
Okay.
California has passed AB 438, where we're doing that transition planning a little bit earlier in
Right.
consideration. So that I could see as a family connection, that would, you know, working with your district to see if there's like a family night to do a parent training. But I would
Okay.
really be connecting the families to their case managers, and so that
Okay.
they can do specific questions. But I think your district would probably be very appreciative if you offered to do a generic training on the ITP. And so
Okay.
those slides that we talked about might be a
Yes.
great resource, as well as the video, and then tying it to your local context.
Wonderful. I was, oops, trying to come on so I can. Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your questions, Rebecca. Anyone else have a question out there? I know we shared a lot of information. You're probably doing some processing right now. So I'll give it just a little bit more time. We do want to make sure that you walk away with all of these resources in one spot, because I know we were dropping a lot of things in the chat. And once we exit the Zoom, we often lose all of those links. So I just want to thank Rebecca for those thoughtful questions and discussion. And again, if somebody is wants to unmute or drop in the chat, please pause me. I'm happy to pause the conversation and have more thoughtful discussion. But it truly is powerful to hear from all of you and really learn from each other about how you might be applying these strategies within your own context. So we want to make sure that you have access to the SSOS Connect and Access implementation guide that's seen here. This is kind of your one-stop resource for today's evidence-based strategies and tools and resources that were shared. Feel free to share this resource far and wide. We're going to drop that in the chat. It is also on the slide deck. And when I'm actually going to go live here. When you click on it, you will have three tabs. So this one here, Mimi in the background has been helping to add all of the resources from today. And if you missed any previous sessions, we had on the last call, it was around academics and achievement. And so you can see the projects and the resources that they've shared there. And then in a previous session before that, it was around school climate and positive behavior supports. And we had California PBIS and supporting innovative practices on that call. So you now have access to all of those resources. So we'll want to make sure that you take that with you. And before we get to our closing, are there any additional thoughts, questions, wonderings? I know we had a few people just joining us, so thank you for being here. We want to make sure that you have access. This has been recorded, so if you're just joining us, I'll be sending this out as a follow-up email, in a follow-up email. So as we close, we'd love for each one of you to either drop one commitment to action in the chat or feel free to unmute or share with the group. Something that was small but maybe meaningful, manageable next step for you that you plan to take back to your site or your district based on what you've learned today. Maybe it's a conversation that you're going to start, a resource that you'll explore, a strategy that you're going to try. Just take a moment to reflect, and we'd love to hear from you in the chat or unmute. Parent meeting to discuss ITPs. Love that, Pamela. And I think that came from Rebecca's question. So, Rebecca, your question has inspired others. So that's great. All right. Well, we will want to make sure and mark your calendars. You should have all been invited for our next month's webinar. It will be on March 26th from 12 to 1. And our problem of practice for that one is around student and family engagement. So we will have high quality IEPs again on the call, and Pathways to Partnership will be joining us. So please save the date and join us as we continue learning and growing together. And in the meantime, if you'd like additional support, you want to explore specific strategies further, we encourage you to follow up with our partners that are on the call today. They are here, Open Access is here to help connect you to resources, examples, and ongoing support tailored to your context. So just want to make sure I'm not missing anything in the chat. I'm planning to use resources from High Quality IEP to revamp my old PD sessions. Those are gems, those resources. Awesome. Fantastic. Well, we just want to thank you again for your time today. We will leave it here with some email links, and you have access to the others on the call today as well. We just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you, Stephanie and Heather, for your time sharing those valuable resources and insights and information with us today. Your expertise and your projects have enriched our understanding and really inspired some thoughtful discussions and intentional, impactful next steps. So again, stay connected with Open Access as well. You are welcome to follow us. We enjoy following high quality IEPs as well. And so it's a lot of fun on socials. So just thank you everyone for being here today.